Well, I asked Mr. Turner, our teacher, about it, and he wrote in big letters across the blackboard. He wrote, to persuade people to do something. Well, I'm here to persuade you to do nothing. Now, this isn't just nothing so that we can watch TV or nothing where we waste time doing nothing. But I want you to do nothing where you can pray. And I want you to do nothing so that you can have a little bit of a break sometime throughout your day. And when can we do this? A great time would be in the morning. Another would be throughout our work or our school day. And I'm certain that if you take time to do nothing, that you'll be able to start your day off better. I'm certain that you'll be able to appreciate your day more when it ends. And I'm certain that others will notice the difference in you. Now, how do we do nothing? Just as it is common sense that we try not to do any heavy exercise after our meals, we take a break. And sometimes after our meals here, I just like to generally take a walk. And it helps to focus my day. What it also does is that it relieves my stress. And also, it puts my day into perspective. And in that way, taking a break to do nothing is great. Another way is to pause before we make our little everyday decisions. This helps us to learn patience. This helps us to recollect and to reflect so that we can make the best possible choice for the big decisions we have in our lives. Now we come to prayer. Now I can already hear many of you think that, well, prayer is a lot of work. Prayer isn't just doing nothing. As St. Teresa of Avila puts it, she says that prayer is simply a glance up at heaven. Now, we have many glances. We glance many times in our day. Many of us glance at the speedometer when we're driving to make sure we're not going too fast. We glance at our watches many times throughout the day, maybe to see how much time we have left in our class, or maybe when our lunch break is at work. We glance at our cell phones, for those of us who have them, to see if our loved ones or if our friends have contacted us, and we often dismiss them as little nothing. But if you were able to glance up at heaven many times throughout our day, then we would be able to fill up our day with many prayers to God. Now what happens when we don't do nothing? Naturally, we are prone to overwork. We take on so many activities and things just pile up. So it's sort of like that experience where you're sitting on a train as it's moving and everything, you're looking out the window and everything's just rushing by. So instead of having unique experiences, all we see is a mundane blur. Secondly, it adds to more stress, right? Because the more activities we take up, the more responsibility comes with it. And we have more stress. And ultimately, we are not able to cultivate a proper lifestyle. In every life, we need to have proper amounts of rest, of recreation, and of work. And in our age of consumerism, we need proper amounts of all three to live healthily. And if I can share with you a story about a piano recital. And after this piano recital one time, one of the audience members, she steps up and she approaches the pianist. And she says to him, she says, wow, that was really incredible. How were you able to play with such emotion? And, well, he thanked her. He thought about it for a minute. And he replied, well, thanks. But for me, it's not so much the notes that I play, but it's the pauses I have to take in between the notes that help me distinguish the pieces that are good. And perhaps we ought to take more stock in that. That it's not so much the amount of activities we have in our days, but the pauses we take in between them that helps us to appreciate the differences and helps us to really have and know what's important in our lives. We need to take time to do nothing. That in our day, to glance up more at heaven, or perhaps even simply to take a break throughout the day. And I guarantee you that when you take time to do nothing, that you will be able to start your day off better. I guarantee you that you'll be able to appreciate what you have in your life. And I guarantee you that others will notice something different about